Alright guys, hello, welcome to replay of the week, number I don't know. Uh, I hope you all are having lots of fun playing Onslaught. It has been so much fun. Today we are going to have a pub replay from Quattro, and then I'm going to go over one of my Onslaught games and kind of switch it up this week. So he's playing the Conq against tier 9s, great tank, great matchup, and Mountain Pass is actually pretty okay for your heavies. A lot of other tanks are now struggling on this map, especially your light tanks, but the Conq is pretty solid on this map, and he's going to a position that we featured in our replays of our position of the week. Pardon me. And this position is very strong if you want to see kind of how it works. Hockey's gone over that in our YouTube videos as well. And he catches out the Sturb, who's made a few mistakes. Obviously, if the Sturb just stares straight at him, he can't really pen him, except for the Cupola. But he turns and gives the side, so he hits the nice pens there, and he gets 2 into the Sturb, which is really nice. The Sturb makes the mistake again, and I mean, Quattro's showing some good aim to connect these shots, but the Sturb is definitely a bit of an idiot, and he hits the lovely Cupola shot. So that's a nice free 4 shots at the start of the game. And the server's down. That guy's clearly, maybe still on some winter holidays relaxing. And now comes a pretty crucial part of the game. So once you've come here, you're kind of looking to push through here most of the time and go take their base and kill anyone that comes down into like this area, or anyone, and like eventually close up and kill anyone that's playing in this area, but there's not anyone there right now. So Quattro decides to push through the mid. This is a little bit risky and ends up paying off this game, but I just kind of wanted to talk you guys through at least my thought process of how you make this decision in terms of where to go. Obviously, there's quite a lot of damage under the dip, but the problem is right now the enemy team does have people kind of covering up here, and eventually you'll see what happens is the enemy team takes the south. Granted, at this moment in time, the enemy team hasn't taken the south yet, so if he was kind of factoring that into his decision of making this play, then that might make more sense. But those are kind of some things that you need to think about before you make a play like this. And Quattro's showing some good shooting again here on Leo and the M3Y. But you'll see how it kind of gets a little bit hairy once he starts pressuring in more now. And the other thing is at this moment in time, there are 3 unspotted tier 9 triangles. And with the way the A-line brawl works and the kind of going up the 6 line, the Conq will be able to like side scrape and just honestly bully all of those lower tiers. So in this situation here, going here to pick the Leo was great. I mean, the Leo's kind of stuck, right? He has to either run like this, in which case you're going to get free shots on him backwards. But what's happened now is you can see that the enemy team has control of this ridgeline that he's kind of staring at right here. And if any of them come up to here, they're going to be holding down on him. And if he commits any further past here, he can't really get safe. Like, he can kind of tuck into this pocket, but then he still has to leave one more time if he wants to go that way. And going through this way, you're kind of just going to end up in a big bowl of crossfire, right? And what's even worse for this is if they have anyone playing over here, or, one of these triangles decide to rotate over here, it looks like your Conq is also going to fall to the M60 and the Skoda. I think he ends up living because they managed to catch the mediums in time. But once again, these are the kind of the things you want to think about before making a push like this. And if there was like, if it's the end of the game, right, and you're just trying to chase those last few shots, absolutely. But there's still so much unspotted damage left. And as you can see, this tortoise has kind of made a mistake. But if this game slowed down a little bit, which is not unrealistic. The HP is very even. After they kill them, they come up here, which is completely reasonable, since the enemy team knows you have 3 tanks kind of playing this valley. That's quite dangerous to be in. And this Taurus is, playing the normal position. Even if he just sits here and he's farming you as these guys poke, you could be in a really bad situation. But luckily this Tortoise has the stock gun as well, so he's not quite doing as much damage. Quattro's putting some good shots in here. To be honest, when I think the Tortoise is angled down, I think you're probably better off, especially with standard rounds, aiming along this part, but these shots are penning anyway. And then because he's shooting standard there, he can't pin the lower plate, so he probably should have gone for cupola or the right side. Same with that shot as well. Obviously, the guy wasn't quite angled enough. And same thing here. And I don't mind. I don't hate this decision, but I really think if you're gonna drive this way, you should at least wait for your teammates to get up here to kind of feel out, is there anybody playing up here? Because if they poke, right, if you think about what they're gonna see you first before these guys, so they're gonna shoot you in the back. But he's up to 5K, so he's having a good game here. I mean, hey, sometimes they're just not there, so he manages to drive up back this slope without taking any damage. And, well, he doesn't take any damage, but he probably should have. But he actually ends up trading positive on the Foch there, which is nice. But yeah, once again, these are things that you want to think about. Where can they be before making your decisions? And once again, I'm not saying that this play is completely terrible. For me personally, I would not make these decisions. Like, okay, maybe these are the kind of plays that maybe 3 out of 10 times they're gonna work out well, but probably the other 7, or even I'd say probably more like 2 out of 10 times they're gonna work out well. The other 8 times they're probably gonna work out pretty terribly. But now he's up to 5.8, and now this is better because he's not pushing kind of through a crossfire. He's now taking a flank and kind of angling out the enemies that are still left, holding the positions in their base. And now he's going to be able to catch this Foch, since the Foch is really out of position. If the Foch wanted to stay alive, he needed to be playing kind of behind the rock, but then I think eventually E3 would have gone to get him. With the rock in kind of D3, just to the left of where Quattro's aiming at. And now he's just pushing forward. Hugging the left side here is also very important to make sure you can't get shot from up here in this perch. And now this is all relatively simpler decision making, but much better, if I'd say. Catches the RD as well. Nice. So here, to be honest, like, your team's gonna kill him anyway. I just wouldn't take this shot in case you need a little more HP for later. But Quattro ends up driving out to take the hits for his team. Maybe he's just a team player. I respect it. He gets the kill. And I think he ends up also being able to farm this guy for quite a bit without dying. So it ends up all working out. But maybe in that situation, you'd want to take one shot for your team, but not take the other one. So then that way, you don't have to hide here. You can just be trading off DPM, and you can take the hit later. But he secures the top gun, and a nice 8.2k. But definitely, it worked out this game. But some things for you guys to think about in terms of how you make your decision once you go to a strong position like this, and the game's opening, and where you decide to go. Alright, so now it is my replay from this week, and it is going to be a quick one. It's just an Onslaught game. I want to kind of walk you guys through my thought process of playing Onslaught. I have played many games so far, at kind of all the levels. And what I've noticed, especially as you get up towards the higher levels, is especially since it's a pretty small community on North America, if you know a lot of the top players, we kind of run into each other a lot playing this game mode. One big thing is there's a lot of communication that I've been seeing, especially yesterday playing Onslaught between the team. This is by far the best thing you can do, especially if you're not, even if you're not the person to be necessarily telling people where to go, which I'm sure a lot of you are just, trying to focus on playing your own tank. Don't be afraid to ask people like myself, OP, other coaches you see, or people that are using comms that you see, like that are pretty solid at Onslaught. Don't be afraid to ask them questions on where to go, or how you can contribute, right? Obviously focus on your gameplay as well, but feel free to communicate with us as much as possible. It's definitely more helpful, especially if you want to kind of try something or do something unexpected, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be bad if your team's not aware of you doing that as well. So here me and OP were talking. I was going to go high ramp, he was going to go to the pocket on the donut, and basically what we're trying to do here is just kind of control the map and take the hill as well. One important thing you're going to see here is I stay in turbo mode the whole time here. With a CS on the high ramp, you should almost always stay on turbo mode because you don't know when your opening is going to be. And same thing here is now that I know that the enemy heavies are kind of closing up under the ramp, it's kind of a gamble because they're unspotted, right? But knowing Cliff, most of the time, if you go up straight, they will slow down and shoot you, especially with the improved gun handling in this mode. But if you kind of pause for a little bit and wait, they're probably going to be reboosting or coming up into the middle to play the game. And I can't stay here forever because the donut's going to start farming me. So I decide to go up then. None of the heavies are ready for it because they're still driving to the middle, which is perfect. And now I'm on the hill. The enemy CS has a lot less HP than me. Right, he's at 1587. I'm at 2507. You'll notice I repair my fuel tanks there as well. Fires are a pretty big thing in Onslaught, so I don't want to get fuel tanked again and set on fire. So now I'm finally going to exit out of turbo mode. I notice this guy on the hill right in front of me, and because I'm up HP, and I know, okay, this 277 probably closed up because I didn't get shot by him as I went up the hill either. So and all 7 tanks are spotted, so there's no one in A5. The only thing that could potentially shoot me is maybe the CS, but if I poke properly, there's no way he will be able to shoot me. So I can just trade 1-for-1 this guy. Like, this guy can't really hit me from here. So I decided to just trade. Even if I take equal amount of damage, it's good for me to trade with this guy right now. And if you notice, I see he's 835. Do I strike him? I do not strike him. I should have struck him to make him a 2-shot, but I think I wanted to wait for my full strike to load. And now, because my team has also communicated with me, the BZ has made his way up the hill, one of the BZs, I need to play in a safe area where I'm not going to get picked. And it turns out this position is great, and I can kind of counter the RHM coming in from the donut. But now is when you need to start thinking about where you need to be and how to put your tank in the game, right? So I noticed someone's on the spotting thing. I know they have an overmatch on the hill. I don't really want to stay on the hill and try and fight these guys because the only person who's going to kind of have cover is maybe OP. But it's not really worth it. I'm not really going to contribute much. I noticed that Hobo here, he's tunnel visioning and he shoots, so I go and give him a shot for free. But now I'm thinking, I can see the donuts kind of collapsing. So we probably need to kill the mid. I can see Gabriel and that's Choppa Misha driving over the middle. So how can I put my tank in the game and also kind of negate the fact that they have the hill? All right, if I stay here to fight, they're just going to shoot me. Whereas if I go down and they follow me down, then OP's going to be able to farm them the whole time. So rather than just staying on the hill here, I decide it's better for me to just go down and leave these two alone. Especially because we're winning the donut as well. And just help finish killing the middle. Because once the middle's dead, it doesn't matter how many tanks they have on the hill. If we have the donut, we have the cap. There's no way they're going to be able to overpoke here and really win the game. Unless we're all super bled. Another nice thing here, talking with my fellow Fines player, Karen. One thing you'll see me doing here as well is I'm using this rock to stay safe from the hill. Secure the kill on the CS. And I'm making sure that these hill guys can't really put damage into the game. This 277, he's trying to run away because obviously if he stays here, he's going to die. And now, as you can see, even though we're only up a little bit of HP, we're up quite a few guns. Well, we're up 2 guns. We're going to lose 1 more here and then be equal on guns. But our positions are so much better because me and Karen can play the cap. OP and Deft can kind of cover our positions. And this is what Onslaught's all about. And for those of you that are really trying to win, you guys should have a relatively good idea of what your skill level is to the players around you, right? So for me, it's been trying to decide what tank I'm going to be the most influential in, right? And it doesn't mean playing the RHM every game or, sometimes it means playing a 6 CP, playing a medium. It's just off playing off your teammates the best as possible. I find a lot of people, you'll see them just playing the heavy tank. If you know that you can play like an offside tank or a flexi tank, don't be afraid to play it and try and impact the game by completely positionally surrounding your opponents, right? It's not always about, oh, okay, I'm out training the heavy tank by a shot or 2. Try and influence the game in ways that, oh, I've completely taken a new position that the enemy team is now forced to push out of and your teammates can catch them out, right? And then we catch Hobo here. I mean, he overpokes, he gets tracked, he dies, but to be honest, it's not really much he can do anyway. We push up here, give a shot to the 277, and same thing again here. Looking at the situation, yes, I'm on the cap. Deft is reloading, OP's looking for shots, Karen's kind of looking for shots. I don't want to let my BZ die for free, plus this guy's basically a one-shot anyway. So I want to go help make sure we kill this guy so they can't control the high ramp, because my HP is 673 as well. So either they need to double tap me or get lucky with the high roll. The BZ kills our BZ. I pick him up, and even though the 277 shoots me, obviously I have enough HP to take that shot. Give him one more, strike him, and then all that's left is the CS on the hill. But yeah, for those of you that aren't quite used to playing a CS on the high ramp, this is kind of a very good example of how to play it. And one of the most important things is stay in turbo mode, especially with the improved dispersion in this mode. You can run faster, and your gun is already handling pretty well. So you don't really need to worry about switching modes to have better gun handling necessarily, until you know that you want to stay on the high ramp. Aside from that, that is all for replay of the week this week. It's kind of a short one, but what I'm going to try and do is over this week, we're going to try and get a few more good Onslaught games to show you guys, where whether it's like some cool positioning or working with your team, or kind of trying to help break down maps for you guys. I know this isn't, I know Cliff is kind of confusing sometimes. There's a lot of different things teams can do, but this is a pretty solid example of one that teams kind of like to do a lot and kind of how to play around it. Aside from that, please remember to submit all your replays by noon of 7 days from now. So that will be the 21st. And we will announce this week's winner, etc. in the Discord. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you had a lovely holidays, and we will be back to see you guys next week.